There is nothing better in college football than getting an epic Week 1 matchup between two out-of-conference teams. After months and months without college football, seeing two top 10 teams go at it on opening weekend is awesome. It is what college football is all about. Well, at least it used to be. If you enjoyed these awesome Week 1 matchups, well, you better soak it all in, because I wouldn't be surprised if they go away entirely. Not only are these games great for college football, there used to be an added incentive to schedule these games because it could really boost your college football playoff resume. At the very least, it wouldn't dog your resume too much if you were to lose the game. Now, losing an out-of-conference game to a really good opponent can really hurt you. Oh, and winning that game doesn't even really mean a whole lot either anymore. It doesn't help you in any way or give you an added bonus. Because of this, two teams are about to be kept out of the college football playoff for scheduling a really good opponent in Week 1. Before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. We're going to start today's video talking about Texas. Now, before everyone in the comments immediately starts calling me an SEC homer, a Texas homer, if you've been watching my channel over the last year, you would know that I have a personal grudge against Texas. I hate Texas. I hate what they did to my Arizona State Sun Devils. I still have nightmares over what happened in that playoff game last year, knowing that Texas robbed ASU of that victory, the referees robbed ASU of that victory, and because of that, I hate the Texas Longhorns. Also, I was a USC fan growing up, and I still haven't forgiven Vince Young for what he did in the Rose Bowl 20 years ago. So again, I'm not a Texas fan, I'm not an SEC fan, I'm an Arizona State fan, and I'm a Pac-12 fan. But I am going to defend Texas in this video. And again, a lot of people are going to immediately say Texas did it to themselves by losing to Florida, and that is definitely true. If Texas just beats Florida, they're likely a college football playoff team. I'm not taking anything away from that game. Losing to that Florida team is inexcusable. Now, with that being said, if Texas didn't play Ohio State in Week 1, Texas would have made the college football playoff. I know there are people out there that aren't going to listen to me, that aren't going to buy into that, but that is 100% the truth. When taking a look at the schedule for Texas, if you all remember, they began this season ranked as the #1 team in the country. Well, they lost to Ohio State in Week 1, and they fell to number 7 in the polls. After a couple of underwhelming weeks, Texas dropped a couple of spots, and they were ranked number 9 when they took on Florida in October. Now, let me just say this. If Texas would have beaten Ohio State in Week 1, they would have stayed as the #1 ranked team all the way up until that matchup against Florida. When Texas lost to Florida, they were ranked number 9, and they fell out of the top 25 entirely. Now, I know the AP poll is completely different than the college football playoff rankings, but still, going off the AP poll, if Texas would have lost to Florida as the #1 team in the country, they would have not fallen out of the top 25. I think the fact that Texas fell out of the top 25 entirely is pretty remarkable, but if Texas was ranked #1, they probably would have fallen to the mid-teens or so. In the first round of college football playoff rankings, Texas, who was 7-2 on the season, they came in ranked at number 11. Now, if instead at this point, Texas was 8-1 and their only loss of the year was to Florida, I guarantee you they would have not been ranked number 11 in this first ranking. How much higher would they have been ranked? I'm not entirely certain, but again, if they were 8-1 on the season, they aren't entering the college football playoff rankings at number 11, especially considering they had just taken down number 9 Vanderbilt the week prior. Obviously, Texas went on to lose another game, they dropped a couple spots in the rankings, and that's how they ended up at 13 on this week's rankings. And the reason everyone is saying Texas does not deserve to be in the college football playoff is because they have 3 losses. If Texas was a 10-2 team, people wouldn't be talking about their losses to Florida and Georgia. And the reason for that is Texas would have a stronger case in the playoff because they would have one of the better resumes in all of the country. They'd have a win over Texas A&M, who is the number 3 team in the country. They would have a win over Vanderbilt, who is a top 15 team in the country. They would also have a win over Oklahoma, who is currently going to have a first-round home game in the college football playoff. Yes, the Florida loss is a bad loss. That is one of the reasons they aren't making the college football playoff. But if Texas just opens up the season by playing Boise State, they're 10-2, they have some of the best wins in all of college football, and I guarantee you the Texas Longhorns are a college football playoff team. But my point is, by playing a team like Ohio State in Week 1, if that game goes wrong and you lose, you are affording only 1 loss the rest of the way. Because everyone says if you lose 3 games, you can't make the college football playoff. So you have a lot of these teams that are going to be in the college football playoff that have either only 1 or 2 losses, but look at their out-of-conference slate. Their out-of-conference slate is absolutely terrible. You look at Notre Dame, for example, sure, they have 2 losses, 1 fewer loss than Texas, but who have they beaten? They have 1 top 25 victory as of right now. Now I get it, they did have 2 crazy out-of-conference games to begin the year, but the rest of their schedule was an absolute cupcake. I respect Texas by scheduling this game against Ohio State in week 1, but it ultimately bit them in the ass. Nobody is respecting them for playing a team like that on the road, and clearly moving forward, teams are going to take account of that. I mean, let's take a look at Oklahoma, who has secured a spot in the college football playoff and is likely going to have a home playoff game. They went 10-2 on the season, so of course they deserve to make the college football playoff. But when you look at their schedule, they have only 2 top 25 victories. They had a really close game against Auburn, who's not even going to be in a bowl game. They had a really close game against LSU, who is absolutely terrible in the second half of the season. They have 2 really good losses, so they don't have a loss like Texas does against Florida, but look at Oklahoma's out-of-conference schedule. Illinois State, Temple, Kent State. They had 3 easy victories. If Oklahoma would have scheduled Ohio State and they would have lost in week 1, look at that, all of a sudden Oklahoma, they're out of the college football playoff. I really hope what I'm trying to explain is making sense to everyone here. When you schedule a really good out-of-conference opponent, it really affects you the rest of the season because like I said, you lose that game in week 1, you have only 1 loss you can afford the rest of the way. Whereas for a lot of these other teams that are playing these cupcake games, they have 2 losses that they can afford. So if you're Texas, you see how this all shaped out, why would you schedule a potential top 5 team in week 1 down the road when it can only hurt you? Why would you not schedule a group of 5 team or a lower power 4 team that is only going to keep that record intact? Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters in this situation. Wins and losses are the only thing that matters. Everyone on social media, everyone in my comment section, they all say the same thing. If you lose 3 games, you shouldn't be a playoff team. And I personally don't agree with that because at the end of the day, wins and losses, those are entirely different. Teams play much more difficult schedules, and I don't think the teams that have the harder schedules should be impacted as severely as they are. So Texas, sure, they could have beaten Florida and avoided all of this, and they would have been in the college football playoff, but I strongly believe that if they didn't play Ohio State in week 1, they just played a team like Washington State, Boise State, Colorado, one of those teams. They finished the year going 10-2. That Florida loss doesn't matter, and Texas is a playoff team. So that's my rants on Texas and them getting screwed by playing Ohio State in week 1. We're going to talk about Miami now, who was on the verge of getting completely screwed by also scheduling a really tough out-of-conference game in week 1. Now, unlike Texas, Miami actually won their week 1 out-of-conference game against Notre Dame. That should have been a huge resume booster, especially considering Notre Dame ran the table almost the rest of the way and they're a top 10 team according to the college football playoff. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case as well, because once again, Notre Dame is ranked above Miami by not 1, but 2 spots in the latest college football playoff rankings. Both of these teams are 10-2 on the season. I posted a video yesterday where I compared all of the teams and who was more deserving of reaching the college football playoff, and yeah, Miami is definitely more deserving than Notre Dame is. First and foremost, let's just take a look at the FPI top 40 teams. For those of you who don't know what FPI is, it's essentially an advanced metric that tries to determine who the better teams are in college football. It's not perfect by any means, as no metric is perfect, but that's one that a lot of people really like, and it's one that we're going to use for today's video. In 2025, Miami had 5 wins against FPI top 40 teams. Notre Dame, they had only 2 wins against FPI top 40 teams. When looking at wins against top 25 playoff teams as of right now, well, each team, they currently only have 1 top 25 victory. Notre Dame's victory came against USC, who is currently ranked number 16 in the college football playoff. Miami's victory, well, it came against the team that is ranked number 10 in the college football playoff, Notre Dame. These 2 teams went head-to-head earlier in the year. I get it, it was in week 1. You can make the case these teams are a lot different now than they were in week 1, but if that's your argument, why even bother playing these games at all? Miami and Notre Dame, they squared off on the field, and Miami beat Notre Dame fair and square. Now, it would be one thing if Notre Dame was 11-1 on the season, if they had more top 25 victories, you can make the argument that Notre Dame would be more deserving than Miami in that situation. But that is simply not the case. These 2 teams have identical records. These 2 teams each have only 1 top 25 victory, and Miami has a win over Notre Dame. I mean, the College Football Playoff Committee is essentially telling us head-to-head matchups do not matter whatsoever. These two teams have nearly an identical resume. I mean, they have the exact same record, they have only one win over a top 25 team. If you want to look at the advanced metrics like FPI rankings, then yeah, Miami actually should have the advantage over Notre Dame because they have much better wins over the course of their entire schedule. But instead of looking at all of that for whatever reason, Notre Dame is ranked 2 spots ahead of Miami, and there is a realistic chance, a very strong chance, that Notre Dame is going to get the final playoff bid, while Miami, they're just going to have to watch from home. So what message would this be sending to every other team in college football? If you go head to head with any team in college football, and at the end of the day, it comes down to you and that team, if you have the head-to-head win, it's probably not going to matter anymore. I mean, isn't that the whole reason for playing these games? Isn't that the whole reason for scheduling these out-of-conference games? Because you would pick up a very impressive victory to add to your resume that you would need for the college football playoff. If going head-to-head by beating a top 10 team in the country isn't enough to leapfrog you over that team when your resume is exactly identical, I really don't know what we're going to do moving forward, because if I'm a team, if I'm Arizona State, for example, let's say I'm leading Arizona State, I'm in charge of their schedules. Moving forward, I'm not going to want to schedule these top 10, 15 teams on my schedule. I'm not going to want to potentially go against them head to head, have that victory, and have that still keep me out of the college football playoff. We saw what it did to Texas by having them lose that game, but even if you win the game, it's not even enough to give you that advantage over that team. Why would I schedule these out-of-conference games when I can just schedule cupcake opponents and boost my wins on the year? I mean, the college football playoff is completely broken because you have a team that's getting screwed by losing to a really good team in week 1, and you have a team that's getting screwed by beating a really good team in week 1. There are no rules that the College Football Playoff Committee has. Over the years, they've said a number of different things are the reasons for giving teams the edge in the playoff. But as we've seen on a year-to-year basis, that completely changes every single year. Again, when you're putting together your top 12, there are a number of different reasonings you can give as to why you rank teams 1 through 12 the way you do. But at the end of the day, head-to-head needs to matter. And in this situation, it is most likely not going to matter, and that is absolutely terrible. So yeah, those are my thoughts on out-of-conference games. I used to love them. I still love seeing them in the early weeks of the college football season. I think it's great for college football, but the way things are going with the college football playoff, I don't think they're going to matter anymore, and I think we're going to see a number of these teams in the coming years start to pull out of these games and schedule easier opponents, because at the end of the day, they're going to learn that's going to strengthen their chances of reaching the college football playoff. I absolutely hate it. I think it's terrible. I think scheduling these out-of-conference games should only help your resume, win or lose. Now, obviously, if you win the game, that should boost your resume insanely, but even if you lose the game, I think that should still be something the College Football Playoff Committee has to strongly consider as well. But that does wrap it up for today's video. What are your thoughts on these out-of-conference games? Do you think that they should matter more when looking at the resume? Also, do you think it shouldn't impact you too much if you were to lose that game? Whatever your thoughts are, whatever you think the state is of out-of-conference games moving forward, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. This is going to be a crazy week where we're going to be doing a lot of talking about the college football playoff. So for all the latest on how the 12-team bracket is going to look, all the latest news and all the different scenarios, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm, and it helps share this video and my channel with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.